Hey y'all, welcome back to the farm. Today's video is going to be all about updates. So I'm going to update you on the food plots that we did. We did one with a disc, we did one with a tiller. We're also going to talk a little bit about how everything is kind of coming to fruition for the fall. And then I'm going to do some upgrades to the barn too. I've got a couple small things I need to do before fall. You know, fall is the time where we can get stuff done. It's not too hot, it's not too cold, and we could really kind of get things prepared and ready for the winter time. We've had a lot of big projects this year. They've kind of set me back as far as getting the things done that I need to get done or want to get done, but I'm starting to almost get to the point where I'm caught up. We also poured the apron, so I'm going to show you guys the apron here in a little bit once we go back over the barn. But real quickly, let's go out to the food plots. Let's take a look at how they look, take a look at perhaps what's been on camera, and then I'm going to put some corn out. I don't really have any feed. I went to the local Tractor Supply and they didn't have any of the feed that I used last time, so I just bought some corn. Some of it's flavored, and put some in some feeders, maybe put some in front of some cameras and see what walks out. So hope you guys are enjoying this kind of content, and let's go have some fun. Hay fields are all cut, hay is up. We are getting close to fall, friends. We're getting close. See, it totally looks like a screensaver. It's like something you'd see on a Windows 95. So I apologize for the noise, but I am going to leave the machine running because this time of year, we're in early October, and I highly suggest that if you're out here doing this kind of stuff, let the machine stay running. The deer will associate the machine with, is there danger here now, and when does it leave? So they will completely get used to that. They know the sound of that. They know the sound of my voice, and when the machine leaves, the danger leaves, and it just makes them more relaxed, especially if there's newer deer out here. But what do y'all think? We have had very little rain. So for this to come up as well as it has, I mean, this is a lot of food. So there's lots of winter rye. There's some oats in here, brassica. I mean, this is fantastic. This is 3 acres. So I've never done it this big. I've usually done kind of down here in this little pocket, but I brought the food plot in more, and I like that because the topography of the ground kind of creates different areas, reducing some social pressure, but I'm super happy with this. Really, really happy. What do you guys think? Tell me what you think. Wraps all the way around there. I just left my cultipacker out there because that's a pretty good thing to give you some kind of distance, like a gauge of distance. Blind is up there. Yeah, I'm real happy with this, guys. So the disking definitely roughs the ground up more. As I've said before, my goal, I'd love to do no-till. I think no-till is the way to go. I think that especially this year, no-till would have been ideal because it keeps the moisture in the soil. When I broke this soil apart, it dried out within 24 hours, and then you're really just praying for rain, whereas tilling it sets the seed, drilling it sets the seed and uses some of the moisture that's in there, and then it can kind of be protected until that rain comes. But man, that looks great. That looks fantastic. There's been deer in here nonstop. So making them happy, feeding them, which makes me happy. A little radish. Tiny radish. Oh man, this makes me happy. Because you know, you plant and you never know, because you're so dependent on rain, but this really came out good. So let's go check out the part where I tilled, because that one had a pretty good rain afterward. That may look better. Remember when I talked, well, if you guys didn't see the video, you wouldn't remember, but I talked in that video about black walnuts give off a chemical called jugalone, and it will kill everything kind of below it. And look at how, see these black walnut husks? It's a black walnut. There's some that are busted open. Look at how it just completely keeps everything from growing, almost like that was just drilled, which it was not drilled, but that's the drip edge of those black walnuts and the jugalone chemical in the soil. It's just wild, man. Nature is just crazy. Gosh, this is beautiful. See all that? This right here is where I threw some buck bourbon out there just to see if that camera was working, and we had plenty of pictures, but this just looks beautiful. It's soft, and little radishes coming up. Yeah, this is gonna be amazing. And then there's a part over here where, if you guys recall, I took the brush mulcher. So really I disked, I tilled, and I mulched. And the brush mulcher just scratched this ground up, and look at that. That is just the brush mulcher. No tilling, no nothing. It looks great. That shade sure helps too. Keeps some moisture in the soil. Well, y'all, that is awesome. Night for the day, Kershaw. Got a corn shower. We're not gonna be full. That's the best we can do for today. Well guys, I'm really happy with this. Man, hard work pays off. This is a lot of work, but if you enjoy this kind of thing, sometimes you put the work in and you don't get the reward. I think I'm getting the reward right now. It's not even the hunt. Just knowing that I made it better. If I can make it a little bit better each year, then that'll pay dividends in the future. All right, so the sponsor of today's video is Jackery. Jackery has been making power stations for a very long time, and when they offered to send this one to me and to review it, there was really one caveat that I wanted to know is how much power does it have and can it power an RV? Specifically, the RV is kind of my litmus test, right? The shop is great, and the shop is a place where I have outlets everywhere, but I can pull this thing around. It's very portable. I can move it really just about anywhere in the shop, but also it's movable to where I can put it in the back of a side-by-side and drive it someplace and have power pretty much on demand wherever I need it. So it's a 3,600 watt power station that also is pretty much like an entire home backup. Entire home backup meaning this is not like a little thing that you're just going to take to a ball game and charge your phone. This is going to charge and power a lot of stuff. I just did a video with this and I did the entire system of the camper, including the HVAC, the AC compressor, all of the lights, the microwave running while the AC compressor is going on. And it was unbelievable how I can plug an entire camper up to this little system and it would run the entire thing. So one other thing to consider too that I really like about this, and one reason why I said yes, I'll partner with this one, is it's expandable. You can add multiple 3,600 watt units that will add to the initial 3,600 up to 21,000 watts, which is crazy. 21,000 watts is a lot of power, and that's not going to be something that's going to be very portable like you're going to go camping with. However, for this shop has a lot of very specific needs of why I need backup power. When Kyle and I wired the barn initially, we did it with the idea that something like this would be here, and it is going to be plug and play, where this will be an immediate backup, almost like a transfer switch, to where in milliseconds, this will kick on when the power goes out, which it inevitably will. The power always goes out here. And then I'm going to have my critical circuits like my well, like the garage doors, which are now power, and I can't necessarily open these shop doors if there's no power. One other thing I'm going to be using it for is backup for my internet. So my internet is going to go through this unit, and this is Starlink. I have not hooked it up yet because I'm not going to make you guys suffer through that. I've tried. I'm going to get there. That's for another day. But Starlink is something that you don't have to have wires or cables or anything. You just need a power source and it will find the satellites, and this will easily power Starlink for a very long period of time. With something like this, you can power your refrigerator for up to 14 hours just as it is, and as you build on those expansion packs, you can really start to make it to where if your home goes down or you have an emergency or you need some kind of backup to where, the family needs security and there's a prolonged storm, prolonged outage, well, now your food's gonna be okay. You also have the ability to plug in some lights, charge some phones, have some entertainment, and pretty much most internet now depends on power. So whether it's Starlink or something from the cable company, that is going to be something you can still use. So you can still be watching your television shows, still enjoying yourself while the power's out. And there's a lot of power in this unit that is going to give you an opportunity to not have a blackout. So the battery technology. So Jackery calls it next gen heat resistant ceramic membrane battery. What that means is that it will operate in freezing temperatures down to -4 degrees, as well as very, very hot temperatures. You don't have to be concerned like you did in the past about the lithium-ion batteries causing a dangerous situation. These are very stable batteries. Jackery says that they have absolutely got it dialed in, and I believe them. It's been a great machine so far. Another thing is sound. So I'm a content creator. This is going to have lots of cameras and phones plugged into it all the time, as well as I need it to be quiet. If I'm going to be creating content, we have to deal with the birds and the and the grasshoppers, everything else. but I don't need to have a humming power station in the background. When we did the dedicated video talking about the features, I put my microphone right up to it while it was running, and you could barely hear anything. They say less than 30 decibels. I think it's quieter than that. It is insanely quiet. Lots of power, lots of portability, and that's why I felt very comfortable with partnering with Jackery on this today. And there's one other thing that I need you guys really to be aware of, is that they're doing what they call the Big Prime Deal Day, which is through Amazon Prime. It's October 7th and 8th. You can get up to 65% off on Jackery products. If this isn't the one for you, you want something smaller, or even they have one bigger that's a 5,000 watt. If you're looking for something like that, this is going to be the best deal of the year. It is insanely well priced. 65% off of anything is a great deal. And I think that that is a fantastic thing for us to be able to offer you in this video. So I appreciate you guys listening, and make sure you check out the dedicated video, because we did put it through some paces and I can't believe how it powered that camper. So back to how we're going to winterize this barn. Okay, got the deer fed, checked on the food plots. They look great. I'm super happy about that. Like, insanely excited about that. It seems like every year I kind of do the same amount of effort, but the rain really, like, you guys know what it is. Like, the rain just means everything. So anyway, won't harp on that, but look at this, guys. This looks beautiful. 25 feet, 62 feet, 6 inches deep. So yeah, I have spent a lot of money on concrete. But here's the thing, guys. I started doing math of what gravel's gonna cost. And for this kind of soil to swallow all of that gravel, and it's really, you know, yes, right now it's more expensive to do the concrete, but over time, I don't know. I think the concrete's gonna be more cost effective over time. My concrete guy actually redid this pad here, and the reason being is when it was lined up to the door, the relief cuts were kind of sideways. So if you looked from inside, this relief cuts are coming across, and I just told him, I was like, man, I'm gonna have this building the rest of my life. I don't think I could live with looking at those things like that. He said, no problem, I'll fix it. And they just ripped it out and just did it again, which I really appreciate him being that particular about it, you know, for something that's my building and not his. But man, it's all broom finish. This is only about a week that it's been out here. I'm gonna let it continue to cure, continue to dry. And then once it's dried, I'll go ahead and seal it like I did the rest of the concrete. You know, this is a pretty big apron, and you see the difference between sealed and not sealed. This is going to be far more stain resistant. And out here, I mean, this is not going to be a beauty shop, guys. This is going to be a place where I actually get work done. However, if I spill hydraulic fluid, if I spill oil, if I spill diesel fuel, it's nice to know I can clean it up relatively easy, and I don't have a huge blob in the middle of this massive new pad. Gosh, it's sunny. Let's go inside. I'm telling you, man, it's like somebody just puts a LED flashlight on your face. But yeah, so that is the apron. This is really, really nice. It's way nicer than I expected. And they wanted to go out 30 feet. I thought that was too far. I don't know how I'm gonna configure all this stuff. This will get cleaned up. As I said in one of the other videos, like, some of those implements aren't mine, and TYM's gonna take those back, and they were really for demo. That's kind of where we're at. Okay, so I talked about something that's very cheap and inexpensive, that if you ever build a shop, or if you ever do something that's like a building with electrical or outlets or anything, this is something that I have learned is a major nuisance. It's almost like you have to baby-proof the shop again, because if not, dirt daubers will find, if you guys don't know what a dirt dauber is, that's a real thing, or mud bugs, whatever you want to call them. They will find a way to build little nests inside of every outlet ever made. And this building is probably the tightest building as far as like airflow and not having a lot of crevices and stuff that things can get in. However, they're still gonna get in here. So I'm gonna go around the building. I'm not gonna make you guys watch that whole thing, but I think it was like $8 for 150 of these things to just go around and fill in each one of these things, just to make sure they don't go through and destroy my brand new nice outlets. So I have to deal with it getting dirty and nasty. There's a stink bug as we speak. You know, it's a shop. It's going to get nasty. It's going to get dirty. Things are going to happen. However, I've had multiple times I've had to take outlets apart and clean them out because a mud bug or a dirt dauber just decided to make it his home, or her home, being inclusive. And that just makes it to where you can't use it. So you have to redo the outlet, or it shorts out the outlet and you have to replace it. So I'm going to go through here after I'm filming this, because I'm not going to waste your time with that. every single one of these little outlets. The reason I did so many outlets is that I'm going to have all of the machines in here during the winter time pretty much against walls on the interior or exterior, and they will have trickle chargers on them. Trickle charger is like a battery tender, same thing. It just depends on where you are in the country, what you call it. And those battery tenders, see if I can find one. I had somebody make fun of me for calling it a trickle charger, but I mean, that's pretty much what they are. So these smart ones that will actually go on like anything from lithium batteries to 6 volts to 12 volts, they are fantastic, and you really buy them once and that's it. You know, they should last you a very, very long time. They go on the actual clamps of the battery, or you can hardwire them on, which is I'm going to do with everything here. I've done most of the machines here, but I have to do a couple more. What I mean by that is, and we'll come around here and look at Clay's four-wheeler, and I have this hardwired in to where when I want to put a battery tender on here, I just take this cap off and then I plug that in. That plugs directly into the wall outlet, and that will go all the way to the battery and make sure that the battery is healthy. It will discharge enough and then recharge it. It's a huge, it's kind of an initial expense, right? It's a huge pain to keep replacing batteries. Batteries have gotten insanely expensive, and those things are probably 25, 30 bucks each. If you buy a high quality one, you can buy the ones at Harbor Freight. It's up to you, whatever you want to do. But I've also seen it to where if you don't get a quality one, it could fry your battery. So it's kind of 6 1/2 dozen the other, as we say here in the South. You do what you think is right. I think for me, I'm going to buy once, cry once, especially when I have like the skid steer battery, tractor batteries. Those things are hundreds of dollars a piece, and I don't want anything to happen to them. The skid steer has some kind of weird drain on it, but once that apron is dry enough to pull the skid steer in here, I'm going to go through there and make sure there's not a short somewhere. And then and during the winter time, that's an expensive machine. That will probably live in here during the winter. All right, so we talked also about the building's 95% done. All the power is pretty much done except for the outside, which is fine. Kyle and I are going to do that just kind of for fun at some point, maybe in the late fall, early spring, sometimes when it's not hot, because you know when we did everything in the ground, it was not fun. But we need to get the well done. My well guy has completely ghosted me. He was supposed to be here 4 weeks ago, had an emergency. I said, no problem, I understand emergencies. I can be patient. It's just a shop, no big deal. It's been now 4 weeks, now he's not answering my texts. So I went to the next name in the phone book. I've got another guy coming. But right here, this is where the well is going to be powered. This is where it's going to basically energize all the hydrants, and where the main water line will come in, which is where that white one goes to the main water line. I'm going to have to build some kind of thing here that can keep this all warm so that this doesn't freeze during the winter time. My other shop, before we tore it down, this may be one reason we tore it down, constantly bursted the water lines and the PVC to where that, I think that was redone 4 or 5 times in the past 2 years. So I don't want to keep going through that. I want to do it right. So I may build a little enclosure there to make that work, but this just gives you an idea of where everything comes out. We have the power coming out, the water lines running right there to the well, which is where that orange bag is. We really just need to energize that. And then once that's done, this is going to be nice because I'll carve all these things out, and I'm probably going to do maybe a semicircle of like river rock, or I don't know, something that'll look nice, that's low maintenance, because you know, I'm not going to drive a machine over there, but I also need to remind myself, hey, that's the wellhead, don't hit the wellhead. Holly has hit the wellhead with the Ventrac and sheared the entire wellhead off, and that's a testament to the tough cut deck on the Ventrac. So my final short-term project is right here. These are cheapo shelves. I actually bought these from Vevor, and they're about $109 a piece. They say they're rated for 2,000 pounds. I thought that this would be a great place to put some shelving over here, maybe in between, like boom, boom, boom. And that way we can start getting things from outside that could freeze inside and putting on those shelves. Not tractor implements, but I'm talking about, like, I still have some oils and some fuel situations and stuff like that, that they just don't need to be outside when it gets below freezing. This area here, again, that'll be a mezzanine up there when I can afford it, but under here, this will be kind of long-term storage. That will be long-term storage. This will be a camper bay. We still wanted to be able to walk around it easily. That's why if you're building a shop, I had someone leave a comment and said, I'm looking at 40 by 60 or 40 by 70. What do you think? I was like, do 50 by whatever, because you can pull 2 trucks in and actually walk around them. Or this is a 28-foot camper, 31 feet point to point, and we could still comfortably walk around it. I could drive a four-wheeler around there. So yeah, I think those are the updates, guys. This video's turned out to be quite the update video. But man, this looks nice. This is going to be so nice to just be extra space to work. When the sun goes down, you know, come afternoon, the sun goes down over these hills, and this will be shaded. It'll be a nice spot to hang out. We can bring tables out here. You know, we have power, we have water, we have tons and tons of space now to do all the things we need to do. I just have to get all of this stuff cleaned up. But once all the grasses die down and I can start getting to things again, that's where we're really gonna be cooking at that point. But this may be the last video that I do on the barn as far as updates. So I may do like a start to finish video for the barn, but other than that, guys, we're done. Gonna do the well, gonna energize that. Once the water's in, it's almost gonna be like get the water fired up and then turn it off, or get it to where we can keep that warm. If you guys have a recommendation for me about how to keep that warm, I've heard of heat tape, I've heard of some other things, I've heard of like insulating your water pressure tank. If you guys have a recommendation for me, I am all ears, because I do not want to keep going through there and rebuilding or even getting that corner super wet all the time, because that's just not good. Man, we have built a beautiful building, and you guys have been along with me for the ride. So I don't think there's much more to cover. So I think what we're gonna do is end the video here, and man, food plots are in, barn's done. Now it's just busy work. Anybody wants to come out here and help me just put stuff on shelves and build shelves, hit me up, because we have plenty of things to do, but I don't think a lot of this stuff is gonna be entertaining to watch. I think that what we'll probably do is focus more on some machine videos and tractor videos and probably some hunting videos, because a lot of people said they want to see some hunting videos, so we'll do that. But I appreciate you watching this video. Thank you for your support. Thank you to Jackery for sponsoring this video. And if you enjoy what we're doing, give us a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. Let me know what you think in the comment section, and I hope to see you in the next one. Joe the Farmer, we out.